blowout set of numbers, but what is the way forward for the company now? To understand that, to discuss that, the management now joins us right here in our Mumbai studio. Hardik Dhebar, CEO of Delta Corp. Hardik, fantastic to have you back and thank you for joining us. Why is that I get to talk to you when your numbers are good?
Well,
when numbers are not great, we don't get to talk to you.
It's just that we try to make sure that we only come out with good news and we want to make people happy.
Numbers are strong, so let's understand how much of your PAT jump is largely operational and how much is largely
everything is operational. If you
Okay.
look at, if you analyze the result and if you look at the gaming sector, I think that's where you've seen the bulk of the revenues jump coming. So if you look at the previous quarter last year, previous quarter in the same financial year last year is, we've done about 71 crores as against which we are doing 97 crores, which is a 37% jump in the revenue. And we've always maintained that it's a very, very high operating leverage business. So of the entire 27, 28 crores of revenue jump that has happened, about 70% has translated into my EBITDA and into my profits. And this will further improve going forward for the simple reason being that my third license, which was the Deltin Caravella, was operational only for about 10, 12 days in this quarter.
Okay.
The benefit of the full operations of the full quarter for the third vessel will come into this quarter. So we are very hopeful that this is only, as we say, the curtain raiser. Second and the third quarters historically have been the strongest quarters as far as Delta is concerned, if you look at the history. And I don't see any reason why we can't rather maintain the momentum or maybe even
Will you lose
better
out
the momentum.
in this quarter? Have you lost in this quarter largely because of rains?
Well, surprisingly, what happens for us as we are based out of Goa, Goa becomes a nice catchment location as far as rains is concerned. Because if you come during October to March, there are a lot of other activities, water sports, shacks, bars and other places to go to. During monsoon, what happens is the beaches are out of bounds, the shacks are out of bounds, there are no water sports activities. So a person going to Goa, the only place where he gets good food, good entertainment, and a wholesome entertainment in a whole is the place like a Deltin Royal or a Deltin Jack. And we have observed that the retention power of the customer during this period, and that is where I said that the second quarter historically has been always good for us.
Indeed. So, I mean, you're trying to say that you can even exceed the PAT growth of 21 crore rupees and 34% jump in top line?
I'm only saying that second and third quarter has always been more robust, and first quarter typically is, you know, the exam times and just about getting into the financial year and stuff like that, has been a stable or a steady quarter. Now, if things are to be viewed in that perspective, yes, we could definitely have surprises coming our way.
So has, just before I come to this quarter, a couple of questions. Has July started off well for you?
Yes, it has.
It has started off well for you. Okay. It's a small component, but aside of the gaming operations, other operations have about a 17 crore revenue this time around, which is a remarkable jump as well. What is the nature of this?
That's predominantly hospitality. So if you look at the results this time, because of the new accounting standard also, there are only two real segments of business that Delta Corp now operates. The predominant or the main line of business, which is the gaming segment, and the complementary segment, which we've always said, the hospitality segment. So the 17, 16 odd crore revenue that you're seeing on the others is basically the hospitality revenue that we are looking at about, which comes from my two properties predominantly. One in Daman, which has done about 10 crores, and two in Goa rather, which does the balance.
Hardik, there are some reports that FC Goa owners wanted to sell 65% of stake to Delta Corp. Can you clear the air on this one? What is
So FC
happening?
Goa owners have changed hands. But I can also say very categorically that Delta Corp has got nothing to do with it. It is Mr. Jaidev Modi who in his personal capacity has invested into FC Goa. And yes, he is the new owner of FC Goa.
The suspense on new licenses still continues.
Well, we have broken one suspense on Sikkim, where we have always maintained that we will have a foot in the door strategy. And we genuinely believe that the airport, as and when it comes up, which we believe should happen by the mid of next calendar year, should be a good takeoff point for that location. So preempting that, we have tied up with a hotel a five-star hotel in Gangtok, and we've got our provisional license, for which obviously we made disclosures to that effect. In the next couple of months, we should be able to start operating the casino. So there is no capital investment as such. We are only going to be operating the casino in the hotel, and the space is going to be rented out.
What is the right way to judge the profitability of a casino? Should we look at footfalls? Should we look at expansion? What is the right way?
I think it's a combination of everything. You obviously need the footfalls and the number of visitations going up, because that not only gets the ambience of the casino but also gives stability and steadiness to the cash flows. At the same time, obviously penetration, more awareness, and that's where I think I have to congratulate my marketing team and my business development team and the ground, which they have been doing a good job over the period of time, and I think the results are now coming to the fruit. But having said that, yes, it's a mix of the right kind of target audience with the stability of cash flows in terms of the right number of people coming in every day.
The guest that we had just before you came in was saying that he would want clarity on Daman.
Well, everybody wants clarity on Daman, and I think that's one event that everyone's waiting for. All I can say is that it's an imminent thing as far as we are concerned. We believe that it's a question of time. Unfortunately, I can't tell you a date, but it is sooner rather than later we expect it should happen.
Where is the ball stuck? I mean, what permission is required now? What is next?
Well, I think it's a procedural thing. It's not a question of one permission or the other, but I think it's a procedural thing, and every time a first happens, it takes a little longer than what everyone anticipates, and I think we are going through that trouble. We have seen this in Goa as well, so I don't think it's due to Delta, but as they say, sabar ka phal meetha hota, I'm sure it's going to be very sweet.
Sri Lanka and Nepal are the next hotspots for businesses like you. Any plans of venturing into those markets?
Sri Lanka, we've already made a decision of exiting the land parcel.
Exiting?
The reason being, I think the government in Sri Lanka, the new government after they changed the democratic system there, has made it very clear that they are not intending to give any further licenses as far as casinos are concerned. So then there was no point holding on to that land that we have. So, and just to add to what Neeraj asked me a couple of minutes ago, I believe the other guest had also spoken about the debt.
Daman and debt, yes.
Yeah, so all the proceeds from these non-core assets which we will monetize is nothing but to basically reduce our debt. Honestly, today debt is not too much of a concern. We were at 360 crores about a year ago. Today we are down to 222 odd crores on a net debt position. And this year we should be repaying about 50-60 crores in the normal course. And if one of these events like the sale of land in Sri Lanka or some other monetization of non-core asset happens, we should be able to be going closer to a virtually debt-free
I
company.
want to understand your global ambitions. You're moving out of Sri Lanka. You had significant presence in some other countries as well. Broadly, how much money would you be committing to international operations?
See, what the international operation that we had was not in the gaming space, it was in the real estate space, which was in East Africa. Yeah. No, it was not hospitality, it was pure play real estate.
Okay.
And as a strategy, the management along with the large stakeholders decided that, real estate is not something that Delta wants to dabble in. And as a conscious decision, we exited out of the real estate space, and that's where you see only two segments now on. But as far as international is concerned, I think early days, we have to first milk the Indian market. I think it's a huge opportunity in India itself. And we've not even scratched the surface. We have a long way to go for India. So I guess as and when we realize that we are reaching a maturity stage in India, which is a long time to come to my mind, we will then probably explore at the international.
What challenges do you, sorry.
No, I just wanted to get one question in on whether you believe the lumpiness, if you will, for a lack of a better word, in earnings is now a thing of the past, because you're projecting a very strong quarter 2 and quarter 3 after a strong quarter 1. Am I to believe that the certainty and predictability of earnings will now be something that will be evident every year?
I think it's a very valid observation, Neeraj. If you see the last 3 quarters in the last financial year, or the last whole year as a whole, and this quarter going forward, you will see that we have shown a steady growth in terms of revenue quarter on quarter and year on year. And I think, yes, with the kind of mix that we have been able to now achieve on the business, I can fairly say that yes, the lumpiness in the business or the spike, the odd spike, I think is probably a thing of past, and we will be only looking spikes which are positive, but otherwise by and large steadiness of revenue can be assumed very safely.
So the progression of profit and revenue would be on the higher side?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to understand your capital allocation. I've been tracking Delta Corp, I think, for the longest time now, nearly 7-8 years now. You know it, I know it. But I want to understand your capital allocation policy.
See, the gaming business per se is not a very capital intensive business. Unfortunately, the other segment in our business component is capital intensive in terms of initial capital investments. But it is an integral part to make the success.
Why go in that area? Because your gaming business is so strong, it is so niche, you understand that business, there's a moat around that business. Real estate, you will be one of the players, right? So why do such capital allocation?
So real estate is out of question. We are not doing real estate at all. The
That's completely out.
It's completely out. It's a decision taken. We have exited Kenya, repatriated the money with doubling our investments in the 4 years that we were invested in. And there is no further allocation of capital happening to real estate whatsoever.
Okay.
And whatever little assets that we have, also I spoke about monetizing them and repaying whatever outstanding debt. As regards the hospitality segment is concerned, that's very, very complementary and very, very synergistic to my gaming business. And while the capital allocation in hospitality will always be higher than the gaming business, but I think it's something which we need. Because when we started, we didn't have hotels, and we realized that to make the gaming business successful, you need to control the hotel rooms so that you can market your casinos better, you can market packages better. And that is why we had to take a conscious decision of entering into the hospitality. But we are very clear, the hospitality play will only happen where there is a associated gaming play. We would not enter into hospitality segment in its solitary basis. Yeah.
So, I mean, where do you see a challenge coming in the next 1 year or so? What is it that could make you actually not maintain this target of your top line and margin growth that you just talked about?
Well, honestly speaking, as far as Goa is concerned, it's quite stable now. So, we personally as management don't believe any great challenge there. The only challenge is, yes, trying to reach out to more people, market, penetrate. I think that's one real challenge. And that's where the team will have to continuously work on. But other than that, on all other fronts, whether it is operations or every other aspect of the business, I think we are very well clued on now.
That's great to hear. Congratulations once again. And the stock is just about rewarding the earnings performance, holding out very, very smartly. That's Hardik Dhebar speaking with us exclusively right here on ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.